Hey guys, so today we're going to keep talking about subject-verb agreement, but today we're just going to kind of talk about some of the random rules that help us figure out what verb to use. All right? And most of these things we do naturally, but sometimes we have to think about them, and it's helpful to keep these rules in mind. Okay, so first rule, there are some subjects that always take a singular verb no matter what. Okay, even if it seems like it should be plural, they always take the singular verb. So these are each, someone, either, anyone, neither, nobody, one, somebody, no one, anybody, everyone, everybody. So if you see any of these words as the subject of your sentence, right, you want to pick a singular verb. Okay, so for example, someone in the game was hurt. Okay, so someone is my subject, right, and was the singular past tense form of to be, not were, the plural one, is the verb. All right, neither of the men is working. Okay, again, neither is going to be my subject, and it's going to take the singular verb is, not the plural verb are. Okay? All right, now, the following words may be singular or plural, depending upon their use in a sentence. You can come in. All right, some, any, all, and most. Okay, so with these, it's not like the other ones where they're always singular. For these, you have to look at how they're being used. So are the thing that they're describing singular or plural? So let me explain that. Most of the pie is good. Okay, so most is my subject, but I'm describing the pie, right? I'm talking about most of the pie. And pie is singular, so I'm going to go with the singular verb. Okay. However, if I say most of the flowers were yellow, I need to go with the plural verb because I'm talking about most of a plural thing. Okay. All of the pizza was gone, same thing, singular, I'm talking about the pizza. Whereas all of the children were late is plural because I'm talking about a plural noun, children. Okay. So for these, you just want to look at how they're being used. What are they describing? Okay. So let's do some practice together. All right, so each of the girls look or looks good in skis. So each is one of those words that we saw with rule number 1, okay, where it's always singular. So I'm going to say each of the girls looks good, okay. Number 2, everybody was or were asked to remain quiet. So again, everybody is one of those words from rule 1, okay, where it's always singular. So I'm going to say everybody was, all right. Number 3, neither of the men is or are here yet. So neither, again, one of those words from rule 1. So we always pick the singular verb, is. All right, is or are most of the girls ready to leave? So my subject is most, okay? And here I'm talking about most of the girls, which is plural. I got that S at the end. Okay, so I want to pick my plural verb are. So are most of the girls ready to leave? All right, and all of the cows is or are sick. So all is referring to the cows. All right, cows is plural, so I'm going to pick my plural verb. Okay, so let's flip our paper over and take a look at some more rules. All right, so subjects joined by and are plural, which makes sense, right? If I'm talking about, John and Maria, okay, I'm talking about more than one thing, so it becomes plural, okay? However, if the subjects are joined by or nor, we take the verb that goes with the last subject, and I'll show you what that means. So Bob and George are leaving. So Bob and George, so it's going to be plural, so I have a plural verb are. I wouldn't say Bob and George is leaving, okay? Neither Bob nor George is leaving, okay? So I've got a nor here. So I go to the second part of the rule and take a verb that agrees with the last subject. So George is singular, so I'm going to go with my singular verb is. Okay. Now, neither Bob nor his friends are leaving. So again, that take a verb that agrees with the last subject. Friends is plural, so I'm going to use my plural verb are. Okay, so whichever one comes closest to the verb, that's the one you go with. Okay. All right. In sentences that begin with there and here, the subject is usually found later on in the sentence. Okay, so with there and here, you can't tell whether it's going to be singular or plural. Okay, so you got to look at what that there or here is referring to. Okay, so there were 5 books on the shelf. Okay, so when I'm talking about there, right, I'm talking about my books, which is plural. So I'm going to go with a plural were. All right, here is the report you wanted. Okay, here it's referring to report, all right, which is singular, so I go with the singular verb is. Okay, so let's do some practice. Margot and her parents visit or visits each other often. So as soon as you see that and in a compound subject, you want to go with the plural visit. Okay? All right, either the cups or the glasses are or is in the dishwasher. Okay, so I got an or here. So I'm going to look at the subject that's closest to the verb. I see that it's plural. I got that S. So I'm going to choose are, my plural verb. Okay? Vern and Fred need or needs a ride to work. So I got that and, so it's automatically plural. All right? There is or are a dog, a cat, and a bird in the garage. Okay? So there is referring to the dog, the cat, and the bird, which is plural because I'm talking about these three things, right? So I'm going to go with are. All right, neither Matt nor his brothers was or were at the party. So I got a nor. So I got to look at the verb, at the subject that comes closest to the verb. Brothers is plural, so I'm going to go with were. Okay, now these last couple we actually talked about. We first did subject-verb agreement, and y'all kind of figured it out on your own, but I just wanted to repeat them just to make sure you understand this. So expressions of time, money, measurement, and weight are usually singular because we're usually thinking about it as one unit, okay? So if I say $5, right, I'm not talking about like 5 individual dollars. I'm thinking of it as a unit, as one amount, okay? So I'm going to say $5 is singular, not too much to ask, or is too much to ask. All right, same thing here. 10 days is not really enough time. So when I'm talking about it as one unit like that, one amount, I'm going to go with singular. All right, and last one, again, something we've talked about before. Some nouns look plural, but are actually singular, so you just got to keep an eye out for those. So mathematics is the one we've talked about math before. Mathematics is an easy subject for some people. So even though it's got an S on the end, I'm just talking about one thing, right? You wouldn't say, like, math are really hard. That doesn't really make sense, okay? So even though it looks plural, we take a singular verb. All right, same thing with most subject names. So physics, again, looks plural. It's got an S on the end, but it's going to be physics is taught by Professor Baldwin. Okay, we use it as singular. Lots of examples, mostly diseases and subjects. Mumps, home economics, social studies, economics, measles, calisthenics, statistics, civics, physics, gymnastics, phonics, news, acrobatics, mathematics. Mostly subjects and diseases, like I said. All right, so let's look at our practice. So mumps is or are one of the most uncomfortable diseases. Mumps, even though it ends in an S, okay, it's mumps is, because it's one of those that's actually singular. $100, again, we treat it as one unit. So we're going to say is. 20 minutes, again, we're treating it as one unit, so it's going to be is. Gymnastics, again, even though it looks plural, it is acting as singular, so we're going to say is. And interesting news is what sells our paper. Again, even though it looks plural, we're talking about it as one unit, it's singular. Okay? All right, so that was a lot of stuff, but again, this is stuff we mostly do automatically without thinking about it, right? Just sometimes when you're like, oh, well, I don't know exactly which verb to choose here, you want to kind of think through some of these rules. Okay? And we'll practice with this tomorrow.